Good evening, Speed Gaming, and welcome to this Speed Gaming presentation of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. We are in Week 2 here, and we have an Invitational League matchup for you tonight, featuring TJ Maelstrom from Team You Look Like You Could Use a Hookin Lamp versus Homemade Beer of Team 3 Off the Tee. I am Main DM. I am joined on the call tonight by Arya Stark, and we have Darak Sharna doing the tracking for us this evening. Arya, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Mindy. I'm really excited for this match. How are you?
I am doing well. This is one that I've been looking forward to for a little while. It's a matchup of a couple of buddies of mine who I've known these guys for about 5 years now. It's crazy how time flies when you get into a little hobby like this, and you meet some people, and the next thing you know, they're playing Invitational League, and you're doing commentary, and yeah. No, this should be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday's match between these two teams, between Fear Agent and Ahab, was pretty exciting, and these are two terrific players.
TJ was claiming in the race room before this kicked off that he didn't mind being a bit of the villain this evening, so if you've come into this chat and you don't have a previous rooting interest, just know that TJ is wearing the dark-colored hat and that you should boo him at every opportunity, particularly when he does not get the money. If he doesn't get the money, you're allowed to boo him.
TJ did give us a look at like Hylia Island with a fun book there. I'm sure that's not suspicious in the least.
Oh, nobody's ever needed to go collect a book off of Hylia Island before. I don't believe it.
Yeah, TJ did get $300 and sank. He's able to buy bombs, head to the eastern area. Beer picked up Ether and Link's house, which could have used later.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. So, Arya, this is Week 2. Week 2 is Boss Hunt. You want to give everybody out there a little rundown of what Boss Hunt entails?
Sure, this is, well, the Green Pendant's apparently near books, according to Saw. It is open, but 10 of 12 Triforce Hunt, Fast Ganon. The Triforce pieces are on the 10 dungeon bosses, plus one behind Ice Armors and one after Moldorm 2 in Ganon's Tower. And as indicated by Saha's hint, the pendants and the crystals are shuffled in the item pool. GT opens with 0 crystals, so the pendants and the 5-6 crystals are the only ones of those that might have utility.
We've got Beer pulling a sword out of the Lost Woods drop-down. A nice early first sword, at least if you head in that direction. Now, TJ doesn't have that yet, and he's going to do Bomb Mini Moldorm Cave, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, fortunately he did buy a 10-pack, so it's not like he's going to be hurting for bombs afterwards, which is nice. Fire Rod here in Mini Moldorm Cave, and something on the NPC. I wasn't quite able to see what that was.
Bug catching net, I think. And there's one of those pendants that you
Never
were
heard
just
of it.
talking about shuffled into the pool. In the rightmost chest. Just blue pendant, just hanging out.
Yeah, it's definitely can be important to take note of it. I was fortunate enough to be on the call last night and played yesterday as well, and had an early hook shot on Green Pendant turn-in, so those pendants and crystals can be important.
Speaking of early hook shots for Homemade Beer in the Kakariko Village well.
Yeah, and a $100 mushroom from the bottle guy.
Oh, good, a mushroom.
Yeah, and no bombs in any of those checks, so you will also purchase a 10-pack with his early 300 rupees. TJ not interested in the shield from the sunken item in the dam.
And now Beer, having picked up a second sword, this one in the back of the tavern of all places, is going to backtrack through the village and make all of these bomb checks that he was unable to make previously.
Yeah, it never feels wonderful to backtrack for these checks, but One thing that I've seen quite a few people advocate for in this mode is relative thoroughness in the overworld. And there's a third sword out in Nagina. It's TJ's first, but it won't be for his only one for long, most likely.
Certainly you would not think that the other two swords are in locations that a runner is going to manage to bypass. The village is a pretty easy place to wind up. The density is just too strong to ignore in most cases.
Beer in the back of the well has picked up the shovel, which makes it even more awkward, given that he may not actually come out of Blind's hut here. We shall see. Oh, we didn't go in here at all. All right. Lamp, hammer, glove. Some okay stuff here in Blind's hut.
Yeah, no, you certainly don't get to bypass the village this seed. Blind's hut in and of itself is really getting the job done. And now Beer gets the bottle as well, and he says, okay, so I have that, and I've got the shovel, and I guess I have to walk back out. And you just go down the village, and up the village, and down the village, and then you hope never to see the village again, but then you're going to probably use the portal at 3 here at some point, so you'll be back.
Yeah, I know that Beer loves skipping library and race game when possible. We'll see if he still winds up skipping it after doing this sick kid check for a piece of heart. Nope. I think it makes sense. You picked up that shovel in addition to these checks, so. We do have TJ here into the front of escape, which we know is, well, it was already fully in logic with that fire rod, I suppose. Oh wait, is it? I forget where, if this mode actually, that's the thing I did not check on. If this one is lamp logic, I think it is.
I'm not entirely sure where we picked this up because I don't think the VT branch will let you roll the things like pendants and crystals into the general pool. I could be wrong about that.
And Tyler is Tyler Salt in chat is backing that up, that it is lamp locked. And obviously the lamp is free, but TJ does not yet have it. Oh look, it's our fourth sword on the shovel.
Okay, so casual sub 7 minute butter sword between our runners. Terrible seed confirmed. Let's see what else this nonsense has going on for us.
Yeah, there's a whole lot available up on the mountain right now. We're just gonna knock out back of escape first.
If it weren't for the fact that we already had both a glove and a hammer, this is the part where I would say, what do you think we're going to wind up doing AGA for Dark World access with all 4 swords and the lamp so readily available? But all we're missing is a Moon Pearl. It would have to be quite literally Moon Pearl on the pyramid ledge, which could still happen. It's possible, but it's a little unlikely yet.
Potentially, yeah. Beer went to the back of escape and got 2 absolutely worthless crystals. So he's got those, which is pretty exciting, I suppose.
They're shiny and vaguely round-ish. You could fool the game into thinking those were Moon Pearl, right?
No, possibly.
No. Sadly not. For all the glitches we can do, I don't think that's one that exists.
So, Beer's picking up the fire rod, mini Moldorm Cave, TJ. I didn't see if TJ actually got anything of utility in the front of escape. Darkcross merely had the small key, so he's going to traverse to the back to get the stuff Beer got via the glove.
He'll probably be even more disappointed than Beer was because he gets to do all of this additional work and burn magic on that fire rod shot to easily get at the key rat, and he's going to get not a whole lot worth of note.
No, it's gonna get, I think, a little bit of health in the leftmost chest, and yep, that's it. Beer is opting for that shield, and is about to get his fourth sword. And did not know if we saw that earlier, that the crabs were in the bomb pack, but or dropping bombs. That's pretty nice.
I don't think we did, because Homemade Beer was the runner who was in something of a position to have found that out, and I think he managed to bypass every single one of the hoarders. Because otherwise he wouldn't have had to do that strange loop around Kakariko Village that he did.
That's true, right?
Sub 10-minute butter sword for Homemade Beer.
Yeah, and it won't be most likely too much longer for TJ. So Beer's gonna head over to Saha at the very least. I'll learn of this book on Lake Hylia Island. So we have a few less than ideal overworld spots that haven't been checked. Ice Rod Cave, Zora, Mushroom Turn-In, and obviously the dive into Easter that neither player probably really wants to do right now.
And we do have a logical Old Man Rescue and Spectacle Rock Cave.
Yeah,
those aren't any better.
Yeah, but with the hook shot and the hammer, you can get to the right side of the mountain and to Hera. So, yeah, it's just after. I can definitely understand on Beer's side. Knockout Saha, that's 3 items, just to cover your bases as well as you can. But the rest of the stuff is just less than ideal. Whereas the mountain right now feels pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah, I was reading off of TJ's tracker, having forgotten that Beer had pulled the hook shot, and that TJ is going to pull it here very momentarily.
There is that hook shot for TJ Maelstrom. Well, Beer's going to be the first player up the mountain here. He is going to have the opportunity to put a Triforce piece on the board as well. In Hera.
We would probably be remiss in not noting that TJ has now both the team's eponymous hook and lamp.
True. Yeah, when JJo mentioned their team logo to me, I wasn't sure if they had just come up with that on their own. Then I did a quick cursory Google search. I'm like, oh darn, that's from an actual album cover. It's pretty funny. Beer has not seemed to have found anything yet on the mountain.
No, the mountain not really cooperating here in the early going. You figure you go to the 7-item location in Paradox Cave and you're gonna find at least one thing worth writing home about, but not to be today.
No, he's got a couple in Hera, Spiral Cave, inside a Spectacle Rock. We do see the cape on Floating Island, so that's another fun visible item. Just 50 rupees in Spiral Cave.
Yeah, some more cash money. So, what? Beer's in decent shape if he needs to go buy the Zora item?
Yeah, it's not horrendous right now, I guess. To turn in the mushroom and do that. I mean, it's not gonna be fast in any form or fashion, but I guess you knock out two things at once when your options are starting to get really spread thin off the mountain.
Yep, he's gonna cross over here and he's going to make the checks in Hera and then hop down and have the look-see at the Spec Rock Cave item, which it all makes perfect sense. You don't really want to leave the mountain when you still have this. Is what really amounts to the density play at the moment. Either this or going into Eastern is your density right now, which who wants to go into Eastern in Boss Hunt when you don't have a bow yet?
Just a full heart on top of Spec Rock. There's one of the 5-6 crystals inside of it, though. TJ is going to go pick that up. We're here into Hera early. Big key. I think it was just a compass downstairs.
TJ with the Spec Rock Bomb Jump, and now he's going to go ahead and start following in Homemade Beer's footsteps a bit.
So there's our first item here in Hera. Beer pulled the small key out of the big chest, just 10 bombs upstairs. So second item's either on the ball. Oh wait, it won't be on the balls. Wait. No, it could be.
It could be.
Yes, it could be. I always get confused with these prize drop shuffle. It's just the triangle replaces the pendant crystal. It wasn't, unfortunately, for beer, but...
Now you have a choice. Do you really want to do Hera Basement? And at this point, you're probably in a situation where you have to say yes to that, whether you like the check or not, because there are only so many places left where your Moon Pearl can be. But Beer's going to at least go... No, he's going to issue it entirely.
Yeah, it's an interesting call. My thought process was similar to what you noted, that it's kind of a chore to get back up here. Having to go the long way around the mountain. So Beer's going to grab this 5-6 crystal and probably just head on out of here. We'll see what TJ opts to do as he's making his way over to Hera. Yeah, this is going to be the mushroom turned in for Beer, probably into Zora.
The game gives out early fetch quests, and sometimes those are worthwhile. This time... cash money.
Yeah, it's nice. It pretty much knocks out your money concerns for the seed. Beer's saving quitting here, so... see where he opts to head here. Front of us. Oh, Beer still has front of escape. That's right.
Yeah, it was easy to forget about this because TJ looked at it and none of it was interesting.
So TJ has finished off Hera as well. We're going to see what decision he opts for here regarding the basement.
Ah, the villain of the piece is going to go have a look.
Well, this is an early potential inflection point. Because I don't know where Hera Basement falls on Beer's priority list. I would guess that it's probably quite low.
I would suspect that that's Beer's last location, and yes, I'm including Pyramid Ledge without a Moon Pearl in that.
Beer keeping track of items too, knowing that all that's left there is the map and small key, so he is off to Eastern. TJ gonna give us this Hera Basement check.
Ah, something that belongs in Eastern.
Just 100 rupees for TJ Maelstrom. I was gonna Death Warp out. I think TJ still has Spiral Cave left here. Yeah, but only a few potential locations left right now. Up to 3 items in Eastern. We have Ice Rod Cave, we have Zora, and Pyramid Ledge.
A lot of places that nobody really wants to go, and of them, Beer has chosen Eastern Palace.
Yeah, I think fair enough. Finding one of the 2 dungeon items right off the bat is not really how you're hoping to start your trek into Eastern, but yes, we saw Gina. That was one of the 4 swords that were available exceedingly early. Yeah, there's the mirror in Eastern Palace, which presently doesn't actually change anything.
It makes it mildly easier for homemade beer to be baited into the Hera Basement play, and that's really about all it does right now.
Yeah, that is effectively it. Big key here in the 3rd chest for Beer. TJ is turning in the mushroom. We'll see if he opts to continue to Zora. There's a compass in the big chest of Eastern, so 1 more item and the last one will be on the boss.
I've gotten way too used to the week 1 mode, and every time somebody walks into that Stalco's room here in Eastern, I keep expecting something other than that small key to be there. And it keeps just being that small key. And every time I'm like, wait.
It's wildly vanilla.
Yes, strangely vanilla, this.
Oh, we have the boots in Eastern Palace in the vanilla big key chest.
Alright, so that's 1 additional check.
Oh, it's Bonkrox, and it's also grabbing the green pendant off of the library.
Yeah, so 2 additional checks. And you had to go into Eastern for the ability to get the green pendant to get whatever's on them. That's nice video game, but very humorous. I approve.
Beer's giving us Bonkrox, TJ giving us Ice Rod Cave at almost the same time, just 50 rupees in Bonkrox, Heart Piece, and Ice Rod Cave, so Pier's also going to give us the lumberjack check that neither player looked at prior to going up the mountain. That is not the answer. Just a red 20 on lumberjack.
Yeah, small denominations of cash. Nothing that you're going to knock that tree over for.
TJ right now looks like aiming to make the Zora play. Gonna try to knock out the guy under the bridge first here, while Beer goes and grabs this green pendant off of library.
At least TJ didn't have to knock over a tree for that cash, but it's certainly not what he's looking for.
No. Yeah, TJ unfortunately has just gained absolutely nothing from the extra checks that he's done on Veer. Zora is still potentially the answer, but those boots plus that suspicious green pendant. There's the bow. The green pendant turn-in.
Okay, well, if that's the bow you want us to have, game, that's a little fancy. So you go all the way to the Vanilla Big Key location in Eastern Palace to get your boots, to go get your green pendant, using those boots to come back to Sahasrahla to get your bow so that you can get a Triforce piece and whatever the item is that's hiding on Armos Knights here.
Yeah, that's, you know, that sounds like a very convenient pathing to have to take. Nice and clean. Oh my goodness, this game.
If Sahasrahla was really worried about the fate of the world, he could have just given you that bow to begin with.
Yeah, that would have been very nice. I had to make things convoluted, and just a piece of heart on Zor, so TJ is going to have to follow in Beer's footsteps here. Is the answer right now, given the that fun little sequence that Beer has just run through and TJ will get to enjoy, makes it feel likely that the answer is going to be on Armos, but I guess Pyramid is still technically possible.
As a percentage play, it's a lot closer than it was when we started discussing it, that's for sure. And there's still the potential outlier of something like, say, the book showing up for access to desert.
We
oh
did
no, that's
see,
on, that's on Hylia Island, isn't it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did
I
see that one.
Now that would be pretty tricky.
Oh.
But we've got a piece of heart. Okay.
All right. Well, it definitely felt like this was the answer, but it's not, because these two players have exhausted all of their combined checks here. I mean, Eastern did net the mirror, it did net the boots, by proxy it did net the bow. For Beer, he doesn't yet know that Haga is the answer. He will soon. He still has a couple of checks to clean up that TJ's already done. And yeah, this Ice Rod Cave area Zora check won't be terribly bad for Beer in terms of time. Going back up to Hera and doing the basement would give back a decent chunk to TJ, though.
Yeah, and Beer having the boots can water walk into, not Ice Rod Cave, into Waterfall Cave.
Yep, that's true. Got a couple checks that we didn't see on TJ's side. Obviously not yet in Logic, but knocking them out now is always nice. And he picks up the the hard piece to knock out the boardwalk state. And with no pearl, there goes that second item and waterfall.
Classic rando punish.
Oh, there was the other bow on Zora Ledge. I didn't even see that.
We'll see if Beer opts for an attempt here to do the splash, to lead down to that, and pick up a second bow. Yeah, he's drowning some bombs, so he wants to make sure his Ancilla are in the right position.
Nicely done by Beer. TJ meanwhile picked up those boots. He's gonna cover the tracks that we saw on Beer's side. What call does Beer make here? It is gonna be Hera Basement.
Because while it's slow, it still takes less time than climbing the entirety of Aga Tower and fighting the wizard, and then what you really don't want at that point is to jump onto Pyramid Ledge and say, my Moon Pearl's not here.
Yeah, that would definitely not be fun. TJ picking up his green pendant. He's about to get his bow as well. So Beer's still going to have a bit of a lead here as the first player heading into Castle Tower.
And now Beer can have his transplanted Eastern Palace prize.
Yeah, these are the last locations for both of these players, and I would venture a guess that both are going to wind up quite shocked when neither of these are actually the answer here. Beer making his way to Aga Tower, TJ making his way to the back of Eastern.
Now, Arya, put yourself in Beer's shoes for a second here. And what happens if you finish this and you look at Pyramid Ledge and it's the flippers? How bad do you feel?
Not great, I would say. Not great. Yeah, flippers right now, as we know it, means the single chest that the heart piece took away from Beer. I would say that neither player is probably feeling wonderful right now, though. This has been a sea with a little bit of a, especially that whole sequence with the boat, and then that ultimately not being the answer. It's just a tugging on their nerves a bit.
Yeah, you look at the clock and you say, wow, it's 35 minutes into a boss hunt seed already. I've got a couple of Triforce pieces, but I'm still working on Dark World access. Why?
And I think the corners that were cut initially are all things that make sense, especially without a boot start. And yeah, I guess the one thing that I would in Beer and TJ's shoes I would feel better about is knowing that there were no loose ends, that they didn't push an Aga play and have it just be free Dark World access, but it also is never fun to backtrack to all the things you were hoping to leave.
Which then raises the next question. Once these two runners get into Dark World, how much do either of them start making those sorts of plays? Again, trying to cut those corners, having already been prevented from doing it the first time by the seed.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing to see, because as you know, a few folks in chat noted, I mean, if it's just like Pearl on Lumberjack, on Pyramid here, you know, Pod feels like a super obvious play. It's fully clearable. And then after that, are you really aiming to do anything that's not like density laden? And there we have it. Moon Pearl on the Pyramid Ledge.
The game really has already given you all of those pieces of the pod puzzle. There's no reason not to go get your Triforce piece here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can use your glove or your hammer plus your hook shot and go across and use the mirror and just make an entire sweep of checks. That's really what you want to do. Probably hoping that by the end of it you've picked up flippers and that you can add the Triforce piece from Swamp Palace into the mix.
Yeah, pod right now would be for both players. Third Triforce piece, you obviously have Skull and Thieves doable.
Of course, with 5 pieces locked behind the mitts, we do have to find those eventually.
Yeah, that's for sure. But mitts can, as Zaf was noting in chat, just make it make the plays more about attacking the dungeons and maybe pushing the higher density checks versus, again, stuff like potentially Smith Chain and a lot of things that could possibly and justifiably be skipped.
There's Saga down for TJ. He'll be right on top of Moon Pearl here momentarily.
And not terribly far behind Beer.
seems to have exactly the same idea. Take the entire pod care package and head direct to pod.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Assuming you opt to, clear out this dungeon. That's 5 items to Beer found 4 small keys, the big key, and I believe 10, maybe a 3-pack of bombs in the front.
Then he's going to head direct for the boss here, which is the play that I've seen a decent amount of in the first couple of days of this mode. And you have to wonder, as we were discussing just a little bit ago, is this where we start to see Homemade Beer say, I'm going to start trying to make those skips again?
Could definitely be a call that is made here. You do have a decent volume of checks on West Dark World. I would personally find it very difficult to leave 3 or 4 items in the back, but you're really not super far off from possibly being able to crack the seed. And if, one of those key items is not here and you move on to clearing other dungeons and run into it, like, it can be a pretty significant time save. Swift Helma fight for Beer. Does pick up the second item in the dungeon, so there's 3 in the back. Beer's heading back in. TJ also going to push the boss.
Homemade Beer with the classic AFG Memorial Bomb toss there.
You have to do it. That's quality homage right there. Two small keys in the rupee basement, so here we'll check Harmless Hallway here. Did pick up the 3rd item. Just one thing left here in pod. Save for the Triforce piece, this has not given the runners very much except for a little bit more health.
And this is one of those cases where Rando would have favored the bold a little bit. You could, in fact, have just rushed to the boss, taken your Triforce piece, and gone along your merry way.
Yeah, Bear in back of pod. So Beer did opt to mirror out and mirror again, so as to start in the light world. So it looks like he's gonna aim to knock out Hype Cave first. TJ beat Helma, he's back in the dungeon as well, so he's going to get his 20 rupees and assorted art pieces. Yeah.
the flippers, which can lead to the book. And you're kind of right on top of the book right now. If you're homemade beer, anyway.
Yeah, and that opens Swamp as a clearable dungeon right now as well. That's what Beer is opting for first, which makes total sense. You're right. You're literally right here.
I'll admit to a little mild surprise that he didn't grab the book and then hop back into the Dark World there, and then he could just add that into his loop at some point. But yeah, you never know. It's perfectly acceptable play to go ahead and dive into Swamp Palace here. Hope that the game is going to start seeding things for you in dungeons, which Eastern had plenty. Oh, well, alright, fine. Just find some mitts in Swamp. Forehead, that's all you have to do. Rando never does that.
I guess so, yeah. Okay, so let's see.
That gets homemade beer into Ice Palace potentially. So let's see, we can get Swamp, Ice, Thieves, Skullwoods. So we're stacking 4 on top of the 3 he's got already.
Yeah, Ice Armos in GT. And if the big key's available, the Post Moldorm 2 chest, which could get him up to 9 already. Oh, and the book.
And
the book gets you Desert.
Desert for 10. Yeah.
That's
no,
as
so that's...
if the big key in GT is not Samaria locked, he's in Go.
And he's treating it like Go. He's not even taking either of the chests in Diver Down Room. If it comes to the point where he needs to find a Cane of Samaria, he's willing to go hunt for it then. But Homemade Beer at 46 minutes has decided, I've seen enough, show me the goods.
Yeah, I think that this is a very fair play, and I wouldn't even call it hyper aggressive. I mean, maybe, check a chest here or there and Swamp's safe for that. Like, you have a great chance to be in Go right now and push it against a very good opponent in TJ Maelstrom. So I like this call by Beer. Oh, well, TJ has found that Cane of Samaria in the waterfall chest that Beer did not get to open due to the heart refill.
Oh my, that one bit of timing on Beer's part is suddenly potentially really interesting.
Yeah, because TJ's heading right over here to Hype Cave, and he's gonna get his flippers as well, and assuming that he goes into Swamp the way that Beer did, that's Samaria and pretty much, that's protected. That's Go mode. Beer picking up that book off Lake Hylia Island. He's going into refill ferry.
May as well take advantage of it. He was down to about half bombs.
Yep, totally fair, but no concern on either bombs or arrows the rest of the way. In terms of clearing out the dungeons, TJ is still going to be following in Beer's footsteps. It just seems like that Cane of Samaria is just going to be the potential decider in this race here.
And we've already actually seen Homemade Beer skip things that are more on the path than taking a whirlpool and going and checking that one chest that he has left over in Waterfall. It certainly strikes me as unlikely that he's going to be back to that location anytime at all soon.
No, yeah. If he does it, it's going to be right after Ice now, and it would stun me right now if he was to do that. But you never know. But I'm very much with you. I would be surprised if Beer does anything other than just rush these dungeons.
And TJ, of course, with that Cane of Samaria, is in an even stronger position than Beer is to just go mode literally everything now.
Yeah, TJ knows that he is 100% in go mode.
We'll get Cold Stare from Homemade Beer here, and Argus from TJ Maelstrom.
Very nice fight on Beer's side. And well done by TJ too.
Yeah, Beer with the mirror, because otherwise he would have saved and quit to the top of the pyramid, which is not where he wants to be.
No, Beer's gonna head for these GT checks first. Which I think is actually a pretty heads-up move there by Beer, because if he is locked out by Samaria, he gives himself the best chance to not have skipped extra dungeons worth of stuff.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting choice. Part of me wonders if maybe I would have at least done Thieves first, since you wind up checking at least some of that for a big key anyway, and just kind of hoping that Samaria falls into the inventory.
Yeah, that could have been a very viable play as well.
But as it is, Homemade Beer is going to get, at the very least, some information that he needs, and at most find out that he's in full go mode.
Yeah, Beer did pick up a cane there, not the one he was hoping to scoop along the way here to GT.
Interesting how all of a sudden he's decided to revert to making some checks. I wonder if he was a little more convinced than he actually should have been about his go mode status. And then he finally thought, wait a minute, what if my GT big key is behind this? I could be in trouble.
Beer does now have an ice rod in his possession and a third crystal of no value. And the other game. So a bunch of blue stuff that is not going to prevent him from getting Samaria locked here in GT.
And TJ is going to save himself a little time here with Icebreaker with this red cane that Homemade Beer did not have on his trip into Ice Palace.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. Beer grabbing a small key in Hope Room. Nice flute. In stealth post room of GT. Still no big key as of yet for homemade beer.
That's not a terrible thing as far as items to have goes, because booking into the front of desert is really kind of slow. The flute activation is not exactly quick, but it also saves you the run all the way from Link's house to the desert area.
That's true, yeah. Cold stare down for TJ Maelstrom. Draws even with beer in the Triforce piece count at 5 apiece. Beer's down to what, 8 checks here in GT? And there is the big key. So that is go mode for homemade beer, and he's getting some extra stuff in rando room.
Oh, and then a bit of an interesting choice of mirror.
Oh. Yes. Oh, that's potentially very unfortunate for beer. Hopefully for beer's sake he will notice before he leaves GT, because that is a... Oh, it's so easy to get fixated on trying to find that big key. Yeah, beer does not have Samaria.
Yeah, TJ with his known go mode is just using his known go mode and is not going to have the flute access to the desert area, but it's probably fine in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I would think so. You're having a little trouble in one of the rooms on the climb. Did use one of his potions. Smart call. The last thing you want to do is have anything go wrong here.
Yeah, restarting the climb is not fun. Big key heading for the landmollas. So since neither player is going to be picking up any items for the next hot minute, this is probably the good enough time to the hour mark to remind you that if you've been enjoying the show that these two, TJ Maelstrom and Homemade Beer, have been putting on for you this evening, go ahead and give these two runners a follow. Show them a little appreciation.
Yeah, they're two terrific players, and as you noted, like really fun people. People I've really enjoyed getting to know through this community over the last couple of years. Not quite as long as you have, mind you, but it's already getting there. So, and yeah, they're great players and really nice people and fun to watch. Let's see if Beer noticed. He was showing some frustration on the climb, and I was wondering if that was an indication of taking damage or maybe noticing he missed the Triforce, and he is on the move, so he has noticed his mistake. Several folks were noting in chat earlier, like, as slow as this seed was to finally give us full Dark World access, it just, like, hit overdrive in a hurry. And now is moving at a pretty breakneck pace to closing it out. So I would figure that for both players, any little thing is probably fraying the nerves a bit.
It's the kind of seed where you start thinking, well, if my opponent just pushed that Aga play before last location, I could be behind by minutes already, and everything else just fell into my lap.
Yeah, for sure. Beer's still going to pick up his 7th Triforce piece ahead of TJ, even with having to backtrack here to Ice Armos.
The basement of GT is not all that bad, especially when you already have all the keys involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's certainly not ideal to have to spend the extra minute-ish running back through it when you were already most of the way to where you wanted to be, but there are certainly worse mistakes. Doing something like taking a cold stare death, for example, to use an example that can't happen to either of these runners in this seed anymore, is certainly more costly and time-consuming than what Beer did with that tactical mirror.
Actually a little surprised thinking about it now that TJ opted for Skullwoods first prior to Thieves. Given that he's going to have to backtrack one way or the other. Not sure what the time difference really, if anything, is, but... Malt down for TJ for Triforce piece number 7. Beers into Desert. So here's gonna grab his Desert Big Key off the right side here. TJ is into Thieves, the first we've seen of this dungeon all day. We're not gonna see anything picked up in the Village of Outcasts in this seed, the way it played out.
Just skip the Village of Outcasts, why not? Alright, so check number 2 for the big key here.
Yeah, nice quick. I mean, Thieves Light's always going to be fairly quick anyway. Big key guaranteed to be one of the four items in the front. Did not pick up the small key in the first chest, unfortunately, so you do have to grab the pot key, but... Solid layout altogether. Beer making his way to Desert. Back here.
Casual silver landmos for beer.
Yeah, nice and easy. Triforce piece number 8 on the board. So beer just needs to flute back to CAC. Enter the portal, knock out Thieves and Skull.
And then save and quit the pyramid.
Yep, one of the conveniences, I guess, of this inconvenient start that both players had to endure.
TJ managing one of the more difficult tricks in Rando, remembering that you're in go mode, and even though that chest next to the moon is right next to you, you really don't need to open it.
I'm actually a little curious now what these clear rates are going to be, because the players knocked out all of the light world stuff early on, and then after pod it was hype cave, get your mitts, and then just push, basically, save for the couple of extra checks that Beer did on his way up the mountain.
And the GT Big Key was reasonably late in the grand scheme of things. So Beer probably stacked up, what, another 10 or so checks in GT Basement?
Yeah, I would say probably about that.
I do think you're right, though. I think it is going to be a rather satisfyingly low clear rate. As TJ Maelstrom is done with Thieves Town, has that Triforce piece in hand, and is headed up the mountain for his last 2 pieces of the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the separating factors were here in terms of Beer building up the lead that he did.
I think Beer's early game route was just a little cleaner, and it kind of stacked up on itself.
And when you get a seed like this, it doesn't really take that much to be a separating factor, because it's, yeah, we both noted like that both players have been exceptionally aggressive. Yeah, Beer was first to boots, and I guess it did allow him to clean up some of these additional checks a bit faster, even including some of the ones he might have had to backtrack to.
Beer got the compass of shame there. There we go.
Oh, do we? Well, Beer's got a pallet shuffle on, but yeah, we got LSD blind. All right.
TJ Maelstrom is going to, quote-unquote, lose a little bit of time here, having gotten that Cane of Samaria. Because these were checks that Homemade Beer could not do.
That's true, yeah. The small key and hope opened the door for doing this right off the bat when you had the cane, but just a bunch of junk in Compass Room and GT. Yeah, our tracker, Durak Sharna, making a good point, like to what you said about Beer's early routing being a little bit cleaner. Going through Hyrule Castle the way that they did was actually kind of interesting too, because Beer started with the back with that glove, and got to skip Zelda Cell and Dark Cross, whereas TJ did the entire thing from the front with Fire Rod. So that, definitely not inconsequential. Here is making his way to Moth here with 9 Triforce pieces in hand. TJ on the way to Ice Armos. He's going to find that big key coming up soon in Rando Room.
That is the full 10 count in the inventory for Homemade Beer, who now just has to save and quit or otherwise make his way to the top of the pyramid and drop in to fight Ganon.
TJ onto Ice Armos. Should get this 9th Triforce piece before Beer finishes. Setting up a triple and hits it to finish off the Ganon fight, so well done by Homemade Beer.
Go ahead and get your GGs in chat for Homemade Beer of 3 off the tee, who's going to put another win and 3 more points on the board for his team.
Yeah, second successive sweep to start the season for 3 off the tee, so, I mean, literally can't have a better start than that. And both of these matches here against this, you look like you could use a Hook and Lamp team, though, have been really close and fun to watch. Jay is on the GT climb though, so it does look like he is going to finish this one out.
Through this Colosse, maybe you want to get a little of your own back against the seed for that first 30 minutes where it really wasn't cooperating with either runner. You may say, you know what? I'm going to finish this out of pure spite. This pig dies. The pig dies tonight.
I think that would be entirely fair call to make.
And it does feel as though, at least through the first couple of days of week 2, that we're seeing a lot more of the runner who does not come out on top in the matchup still finishing it out, because unlike co-op 80 KDB, you're not sitting there somewhere around the 145 to 2 hour mark going,
Yeah, for sure. As frenetic as these seeds can be, there's way less things going on, and we did say that it did look like TJ was going to finish it up, but he has actually opted to toss in the forfeit here. So we will see if we can get both runners in here for post-match interview.
Yeah, and it's an entirely defensible decision on his part. There's nothing left to play for necessarily. You wonder sometimes when it took him those couple of minutes that he thought, you know what, I'm this close, I'll finish it out. But it could just be he was so locked in on go mode that it took him that long to glance over at the race room and say, whoa, I actually got beat on this. I thought the back half of this seed was really going in my favor, and in fairness to him, it was. It was just Beer did the same things, and he was a little earlier into the Dark World to take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, that Samaria edge on TJ's side had the potential to swing things back his way, even with trailing a little bit heading into Dark World. But wasn't to be. But again, both Ahab and TJ in these two matches against Fear and Homemade Beer played exceptionally well enough to win, and it didn't go their way on this time, but I'm sure that this team is going to be posting some really good results going forward.
I see we've got TJ and Homemade Beer in the waiting room, so hopefully we can get them on up here just momentarily, and then we can have a little talk about this. We are joined by both of tonight's racers, Homemade Beer, TJ Maelstrom. Gentlemen, good game.
Yeah,
Good
sure, it was great. I don't know for who, but it wasn't me.
Well, it sounds like I learned something post-race, and you'll never guess who got Piece of Hearted and Waterfall Fairy.
I got that later.
Oh yeah, did you go with the flippers?
No, I went after Pod. I went to Catfish and Mirrored for Waterfall. Didn't need it, but yeah, I did it.
Oh yeah, actually that makes sense. I was thinking if the pearl, maybe the flippers are on Pyramid, and I can skip the.
Right, I was calling it. I'm like, if flippers are on Pyramid, I'm like, that would track, because I don't know, my entire opening route. Nice to have my entire opening route just completely invalidated at every subsequent step. I got the freaking money, right? I go talk to Sahasrara. Okay, the green pendant, cool. I don't go into Eastern Palace. I go to Mini Moldrum Cave, get the fire rod. Then I go to Hyrule Castle. Then I get the glove.
Oh, in CAC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's right.
I go to Agina's Cave before most of anything else. I get a sword, and then I get 3 more. I'm like, cool. I don't know, cool. Probably not getting that sword anytime soon. Oh, come on!
Yeah, Beer, you
I'm
had
not any
butter.
Just come on!
Beer had butter sub 10 minutes. It was obscene.
Yeah.
Well, I think the best part, like, I hope everyone agrees, because it was definitely a thing that the reverse green pendant turn-in was just like the most, like, you know, you stop and just blink and stare at the wall for like a minute kind of like thing. It's like, go to Eastern to get the boots so that you can get the green pendant to get the bow to beat Eastern. It's like, what?
Yeah, that was wild. I'm like, as soon as I finished Death Mountain and got nothing with the hook shot, I'm like, this is probably an Agassi, but my policy is to just not go in not go do it until I have a Moon Pearl. Like I kind of suspected this was the whole time, but I don't do it unless I get the Pearl. Now, I didn't get to do Waterfall Fairy because you get the boots right away. But I mean, as soon as I got that bow and did Eastern and didn't get a Moon Pearl, I'm like, all right, screw it. If the flippers are on Pyramid, I probably lost this a long time ago anyway. So I was a little relieved to see that.
Yeah.
I think my only saving grace is if you had just done it before Eastern, but I don't think either of us would have done that. Yeah.
That was the question, actually, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, there's a chance. It's slim, but like if it's like, hey, I'm feeling the agonist of this seed, I'm just gonna go do this, and then you just skip Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I found the second bow, and I was like, oh, actually that wouldn't help you that much, because you needed the boots for like desert, so it would only hurt you if you didn't do Eastern Big Key just later.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so pretty much.
But then again, you had the cane, so it didn't matter. You could have beat any dungeon. I found the ice rod was in Hookshot Cave for what it's worth.
Oh, I never looked. I was in. Yeah. By the time I had hit Johnny Two Bombs, I was pretty sure I'd find Mitts in Swamp, and then like immediately I'm like, well, okay, that's all I need. Time to get moving.
I don't know. It was weird. You see a lot of stuff that doesn't matter in this seed early. Like, there's that cape, there's this, there's that, and it's just like, just forget everything you learned.
Yeah. This mode and I have a history of just being incompatible. I've done like async after async after async, and it just I either don't find what I need until like really late, or I'm just like stuck for one thing for like half an hour. And this one was at least kind of linear, but like that opening route just cost me so much time because like you get into the dark road, like okay, you're done now.
Yeah. Well, did you do the same thing? You beat Pod and then go straight to Hype Cave, or
I went to Catfish first so I can make sure that nothing was in the waterfall.
Oh,
okay. I figured since I hadn't done that was it was worth doing. It's 3 checks.
Yeah.
But right after that is when I went to Hype Cave, and then right after that I went to Swamp, and I'm like, oh, this seed is just stupid and free. Okay,
so
great.
You never got the silvers?
I saw them. I just never went back for them.
Oh, because you didn't have the flippers because they were in Hype Cave. Now I get you. Yep.
Right, and I'm not. I can't like the other thing that lets you splash elite is also a water lock. So Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah, I just don't have. I just never had any good luck with this mode.
I don't know. It's a tough mode. I've heard lots of things of just like.
I just think
the way
it's
the
like,
door rando rolls it kind of different. Than
you either just get it or you don't. Yeah. And that opening route just. I think we pretty much did most of the same thing. It's just the order in which I did it didn't cost me too much time.
Yeah, CAC was weird because the guards were on the nice pack, but then I went in from the north anyway and had to go south, and it's just dumb. So anyway, I don't know. We're done. Our teams are done with week 2. We get to do duality next week.
Yeah, duality is a mode that I'm mostly. I feel a lot better about, and it's good. Yeah. Like going into that, and then Influputes next week. I mean, I feel really, really good about any inverted seed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I fancy myself as Mr. Inverted. And so,
for sure.
Although I haven't won that tournament, so I'll have to fight whoever wins that tournament for that title. And I have some really good practice with duality. I'm a little more confident with that because we gotta start winning.
It's fun, right? Duality's fun.
I like it. It's a good teamwork mode, which is what I think League needs more of, and I think that's great.
Yeah,
I really like that. But we're 0-4 now. We've had 4 very close races, but still second place just puts it in the loss column still.
Yeah.
I mean we've been competitive, just haven't won.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know. I've seen plenty of teams come back from that and just like
like we're not out yet. We're not out yet.
Yeah.
We're not out yet. We're down. This sucks, but we're not out yet.
No, I've been looking forward to watching you guys play this season too. So
Yeah, that'll be pretty good. I just really, really would like to break. I haven't won on Restream since 2023. And I say this every time, and I'm like, this is gonna be the time. It never is. It never is. It never is.
We'll get you on the next restream. I'll call.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all right.
Give you that good luck and all.
Co-op doesn't count. I'm saying that right now. Co-op doesn't count.
I love duality. It's a great mode. Teamwork and all that. It still doesn't count.
No, it will not count. No, it counts. It does not. It will not count for the purpose of breaking this restream curse. That's what I'm saying.
So what I'm hearing is you're playing in Fluky's week. You have to.
I'll be playing both duality seeds since I didn't play week 1. I have no experience with key drop, so I delegated that to my teammates. This is the first league race I'm playing. Coming in, coming in on my back foot. There's a lot of pressure here.
Imagine it's Invitational League. There's a lot of pressure everywhere.
Yeah, I would love to be invited back. So we got to start winning. So I really enjoy this team I'm with. Like, I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I enjoy the competitive level of this tier. So I want to stay at this level.
I mean, clearly you're here. You've been,
Yeah, I was good enough to get it.
Other things that you've like shown
good enough to get here. Now I have to be good. Yeah, now I have to be good enough to stay here. Yeah, I did fine in this one. Just not well enough, but fine. I'm not upset with anything other than my opening round, and maybe a few door flubs here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, this was a good, for anyone who didn't watch it, this was a good, share this seed with your friends kind of seed. It was pretty goofy, I think.
Yeah.
But.
The early game had jokes. The late game had a lot of, all right, now let's go execute for all we're worth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the early game had the jokes, and the darker was like, "That's my time, everybody. Have a good night. Please tip your waitress."
They start, you get the mitts, and the piano music starts playing. Closing time comes on in the jukebox.
Right,
you don't know what's going on.
The clown with the oversized broom starts sweeping you off the stage. Did anybody else hear a gong?
Well, it is nice to put week 2 in the book for your team relatively early. Not necessarily the way that TJ wanted it to go, but that just means that you get to start getting ready for week 3.
Yeah.
Maybe get a little bit of a jump on the opposition. Who do you have next week, TJ?
Who do we? What is our? Hang on. Let me take a look at this because I know what the weeks are. Just not. I can actually spell Link to the Past right. Hang on.
And Beer, I'm going to put you on the spot too, so you should probably start typing as well.
What was the question? I already forgot.
What team are you playing next week?
In Flukies, I think we're playing the
Duality.
The Pugs.
Duality is next week.
Just skipping right past Duality.
Yeah.
The fun mode, we don't want it.
All right.
I forgot that mode exists. Duality.
All right. We're playing. We're playing. Sorry, I was asked first, so I'm going to answer first.
Go first.
Past the Potents with Pichu.
Oh, nice.
Fibonacci and James function of X.
Ooh, all right. So more friends, man. It's going to be all friends matchups.
Yeah.
Hey, Beer. I may need a comm partner next week. Just saying.
Look. Actually, I'm around a lot next week, so that's good. I think our team is playing 2 Pearl, 2 Furious. I'm not going to double check. I'm just going to pretend that that's the correct answer, and whatever the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire meme is. if you want to phone a friend, it's up to you. It's going to be a fun one. They're always a great time. You know, another team that I like to enjoy. You know, friends, as they say.
Yeah, we're all friends here. Like everybody's friends.
Exactly.
But you're allowed to be mad at your friends. So.
Exactly. That's right. And then you have a beer and you sing a karaoke song.
That's right, right?
As long as it's not Piano Man, then we're fine.
Who sings Piano Man in karaoke? Chumps, that's who.
I sense a story here that probably is not speed gaming safe. So Arya, let's go ahead and wrap this up, and then I'm going to badger TJ for the details.
Oh, you should hear my rendition of Tequila. It slays every time.
He did sing that at Speed Gaming Live. Everyone should attend, by the way, in October in Herndon, Virginia. Herndon, Virginia.
Herndon, Virginia.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun. Arya, thank you so much for joining me in the comm booth this evening. It's nice to have a little bit of a faster mode, maybe after ADKDB, even though that's co-op, it still tends to run pretty substantially longer than this.
Yeah, I had a great time, Mindy. It's always fun coming with you, and it's definitely nice to have this mode where I can know what's going on, as opposed to 4 screens of 7,000 keys.
As opposed to key chaos, yes. And thank you so much. The big shout out of the night, of course, to our tracker, Darak Sharna, who made everything appear there so that we could look like we were smart. And we could sound like we were smart, even though, I won't speak for Arya, but there are definitely times where I'm not.
I'll speak for myself and agree with the evaluation about myself.
So,
I'm reading the chat here. I want to respond to 2 people right now. 2 very specific, Jamo and Telethar. Yo, the reason I didn't go full left is because I wanted to justify my Samaria cane. Is that good enough for you? Thank you.
Ah, classic TJ, you gotta love it. I hope everybody out there in chatland was entertained. I think we've got another one of these going on Speed Gaming 3 that's probably they may be wrapping up depending on how quick that seed went, but if not, then we definitely have some more Link to the Past Randomizer League Week 2 action coming at you tomorrow. Starting at high noon Eastern Time with the Banana Brigade and Boing Boing Boingers. That's going to be Yoshi and Rotsev. No channels scheduled yet, but keep your eyes peeled. It's League. We try to get as many of these as we possibly can out there on the restream side of things. Speedgaming.org/schedule to find out what the upcoming sorts of things are, both in Link to the Past Randomizer League and all of the other things that Speed Gaming puts on for your entertainment. But for my commentary partner Arya Stark, for our tracker Darak Sharna, for Homemade Beer and TJ Maelstrom, for the Speed Gaming family of channels, I am my DM, wishing you all a good rest of your day, a good rest of your night, whatever it is for you. Have a good one out there, folks. We're clear.